crafting friends, welcome to Stampin' Peace with Mary Nabe. Today I'm going to show you how to make this mini wine bottle holder featuring the Birthday Bouquet Designer Series paper, the Birthday Blooms stamp set, and mint macaron cardstock. In addition to holding a mini wine bottle, this will also hold the Bath & Body Works body spray, the mini body sprays, and I'm sure you can think of lots of other things to put in there as well. So I'm going to set that to the side and let's get started here. I'm starting with a 7 1/8 inch square of mint macaron. As you can see on my Simply Scoring tool, I have two different color sets of markers, red and yellow. I find it helpful to color code the place markers. That way, on a project when I'm having to score more than one set of lines, it's quick and easy for me to do, and I don't have to do a lot of switching out and going back to directions, that sort of thing. I will comment that here I should have a yellow and a red marker side by side. The scoring tool does not allow me to put them any closer than a 1/4 inch apart, and these two are just an 1/8 inch apart. So I have that one red one just kind of laying on its side right there so I remember. So I'm going to start by scoring this square at 1 3/8 inch. Go over that one more time. And at 5 5/8 inch. Now at this point, if it helps you, you can remove those other place markers. If you want to color your place markers, I would suggest using a permanent marker like a Sharpie, or even nail polish works great. Okay, so now we've done that. So now I'm turning my square 90 degrees and I'm going to score at 1 1/8, 2 1/4, 3 3/8, 4 1/2, 5 5/8, and 6 3/4. Okay, and don't worry about getting those measurements. I will have them posted on this blog post. So if you didn't catch them in the video, you can stop and rewind as you're making your project, or simply follow the directions I'm going to include. So now we are done with the Simply Score tool, and I'm going to set that aside. And now I'm going to bring out the gift bag punch board. Notice I said gift bag. It's not the box, it's the gift bag punch board. This product is actually on the weekly deal special. It regularly is priced at $20, but you can purchase it through Monday for the price of $15. So it's a great savings, and it's a great fun tool to use. We are going to not do any scoring with it, but we are going to do punching only. We're going to punch at each of these horizontal lines and the edges of our squares. To do that, I'm going to start by lining up my edge on the starting line. Okay, you can see start line with the arrow, and then there's this little notch in here. I want the top of my paper to be lined up, and of course you want it to go all the way in. It should be flat against there so it slides. Okay, so I got the edge on my start line, punch. I'm going to move it to the first horizontal score mark, punch again, and I'm just going to keep continuing, making sure I have it lined up with that notch and the little arrow line that says start line. And I'm going to do all of them on this side. Then I'm going to flip it to the opposite side and do the very same thing. I'm starting with the edge. Again, make sure it's all the way in so it slides. I'm starting on that edge of the square, matched up to the start line. Whoops, I did not do, did I do that correctly? Okay. Almost finished punching. Again, make sure it's all the way pushed in and matches up with the start line. And I'm just going to get that final edge here. Okay, so I'm finished with that. I'll set that aside as well. I'm going to use my scissor snips and just cut off these little ends. In fact, you could even do a mitered end, angled. And this is going to be our flap for the closure. Now that we have the base prepared for our mini wine bottle holder, I'm going to add the designer series paper. I have 6 strips that are cut 7/8 inches by 4 inches. Okay, so I'm going to flip those over. I'm going to use my snail. I love the convenience and the speed of the snail. Whoops. And now I'm going to add each of these strips to the base of my wine bottle holder. I'm centering each one in the rectangles provided by the score lines we made. Okay, we have that step complete. Now I'm going to add some adhesive on this flap that we will use for closing up our box. I prefer to use our new tear tape. I love it because it's so easy to tear. You don't even need a scissors. You just place it on there, and I do have it right up to the edge of my fold there. I'm going to peel the backing off. If you have any little ends of adhesive, just tuck them over. And I'm going to fold the flap this direction. From there, I'm going to fold the other half of the box over it, lining up the edges, pressing it down, and so you have that, okay? Now I'm just going to go and turn my box each way so they have, so they have nice good folds on each of those, and you'll end up with a tube like this, okay? I'm actually using my crop-a-dile hole punch, and I'm going to, I've already got it set to where I want the holes, and of course Stampin' Up! Does sell our own handheld hole punches, so you might want to take a look at those in the catalog. We offer them in 3 different hole sizes. You only need to do it on one end. This is going to be the top where we string our ribbon or lace through, okay? The other side is going to be the bottom. So I'm just going to fold these bottom flaps over on each other. I have a circle that I've punched, and I'm going to use some of the Tombow multi-purpose liquid glue. Oops, that one might be empty. Let's try another one. There we go. Little goes a long way. I might have put a wee bit much on here. That's what happens when I'm trying to hurry. But anyways, you're going to put this down over the box. And I like to just play with it a little bit because I want that nice hexagon shape on the bottom. And if it helps you, at this point you could even stick your wine bottle or your body spray right inside it to help you get the shape and stand. Okay, so I'm going to flip this over, press it down, and let it dry for a few moments. Okay, there we go. Just going to set that down and let it dry. And I'm actually going to push it out of the side to the side because I already have one completed that we can use. As I said, now is a good time to place your either your bottle or your a bottle of wine or your body spray in the container. And now we're going to finish off the top. I'm using dotted lace trim in mint macaron. I've cut it to 24 inches. One thing I want to say about using ribbon and that such is always give yourself a little bit extra, because then at the end you have time to play with the loops and the tails. And I do find that when people cut themselves a little short, they don't want to waste. They end up being a little bit too short and having to cut more. So my piece is actually 24 inches. I always like to make sure that the seam is in the back of my box. So I'm going to start on the front flap. I'm going to enter from the front. I'm just going to tuck a little corner of the lace in there and pull that through. Whoops. My fingers will cooperate. Well, for heaven's sakes. There we go. Okay. So from here on out, I'm going to be consistent in the way I thread this lace through the holes. So I'm going to go over the front. Whoops. I'm having a hard time with this lace for some reason. Okay. From the front and pull through the back. And I'm going to pull it so I have something to work with as I go along. And again, I'm going from the front to the back. Doesn't matter which way you go, front to back, back to front, but just be consistent. The reason I say that, you want your projects to have a nice, finished, polished look. Maybe a little more professional look, you might even say. And those attention to details are what are going to set your crafts off from somebody else, set yours apart from somebody else's. And if you're taking the time to make something handmade, you might as well make it your best work. And some of those just quick little tips and tricks help you do that. So now you'll want to gently pull this out. You notice I'm not just tugging the ends. And the reason is if you tug too hard, you're going to tear some of those holes in the flaps we have. Okay, so now I have that. I'm going to lay this down and tie a nice bow. And again, you can see I have plenty of extra on my tails that I can play with the loops and get them the size I want. And then I'll trim off the tails to make them even. And my scissors of choice for this, of course, is our craft scissors. $30 in the annual catalog. Perfect for ribbon and trims. What I will say is if you invest in a pair of scissors like this, please keep them designated for fabrics and ribbons, because then they will last you forever. All of your scissors will have longer life if you use them for specific things only. So for example, this is my fabric ribbon scissors. My scissor snips, of course, paper and little things. I have a pair of scissors that I use to cut only sticky things. If I need to cut some tape or adhesive or something like that, I use those. So just gives your scissors longer longevity, more longevity, I should say. Okay, for the sake of time, I have stamped and pre-punched these previously. I used my stamp from the Birthday Bloom stamp set. I punched with Watermelon Wonder ink on Blushing Bride cardstock and punched it with a 1 3/4 inch circle punch, which is the same size I used to make the base for the bottom of my box. And then I've cut or punched from Mint Macaron cardstock 2 3/8 inch scallop circle. So I'm going to use my snail and adhere those together. And of course I need some dimensionals on all my projects, so I'm going to, in fact, I'm going to put them on here to make sure I get them in the right place. Peel the backings off. And then I'm simply going to put my tag centered nicely on the front. And there you have it. Cute little favor for a bridal shower or birthday party or retirement party, graduations, whatever you can think of. Cute table favors for holidays. Cute little gift for colleagues. You could do some at Christmas time for Secret Santas. So again, I've used them for the mini wine bottles as well as the Bath and Body mini body sprays. Let me know what you come up with to put inside these. So that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Please send me a picture or post of what you've made using it, and do enjoy your day. Bye-bye.